out to everybody with any of the resources. There's a video I'm going to show you that talks about setting up a Facebook Live event. That's kind of going to kind of be the anchor for everything we are talking about in regards to a virtual tour or open house. What do the opportunities, what are the opportunities here? Well, obviously the traditional open house in tour is kind of off of the table. We're not going to really go into, because it varies county to county and city to city and state to state on the whole occupied versus unoccupied option. So this is just if you can get in there or you feel comfortable talking your seller through, walking around with a camera, whatever the case may be. What this does is it saves a lot of time for both the agent and the buyer. Virtual open houses and tours will let buyers reach will allow a buyer to see more properties in more places by ways of various platforms that show tours live, like links that put these videos back from your website, things like YouTube, FaceTime, WhatsApp calls, and then what we're focusing on are the promotional type events that you can do through Facebook and consequently Instagram. It allows agents to reach potential buyers while saving consumers the time that they would normally spend repeating in-person tours, and allows an agent to capture leads, create new content, and build your brand. The act of going live versus posting a static video slideshow, for example, or just posting a video. The reason we're talking about going live with these events is because Facebook's own data shows that there's a lot more traction in the system algorithmically for live events because they are happening in real time and consumers tend to chime in more, especially as we talked about in the capture lead sense. People that are coming into a virtual open house or a tour, every one of them should be some kind of contact that you are making for your business because they're walking into a virtual open house or tour. Let's see. This is also a perfect self-marketing opportunity. It allows you as an agent to get to introduce yourself to potential buyers and allow you to grow your brand. Potential buyers get to know the agent before ever meeting them, and then agents are encouraged to show their personality on camera. You're going to hear me talk a lot about that. You want to be memorable, but most of all, bring honesty, authenticity, and bring value to your audience. One of my agents in my Santa Cruz County that's been doing this for a while, one of my favorite quotes from her is that your audience doesn't necessarily care how you look or even the inherent value in production. What they do care about is authenticity, and they want the real you to show up and provide relevant information on that community. Over 50% of buyers find their home online, and of those, 90% used an agent to make that purchase. So virtual marketing is a huge opportunity to capture leads through likes, comments, and other types of engagements that happen. And even if they don't go for this particular listing, you or the agent knows that there's a potential buyer in the midst. So what essentially are we talking about here is essentially creating a plan to market your property just like you would your traditional space, except now you're conveying to not only your clients, but the audience or sphere or whatever you're marketing to as a whole, that the current economic and social situation doesn't put that much of a hamper on your business. You can still operate within all of the guidelines permitted and show a home virtually and plan around this because you have the support from a brokerage that will help you do all of this and operate as close to normal as possible. What you want to do is just like you would with any traditional listing, right? Instead of sending out mail and working a neighborhood, what you're really working now is your sphere and leveraging things online to geo-target a neighborhood. Facebook Live is what we're talking about specifically in our example because that allows you to schedule an event. And I'll show you a video to end this on how you would schedule that Facebook Live event. Well, not to end, but in the middle. And you utilize that, and that's what we anchor the marketing around. So let's say we're going to do a tour of a home. What you're going to do is create an event and then target that by sending it out to your sphere, utilizing something like InTouch to create a blast, to allow everybody to be notified about the live tour, also to go to your Facebook page and sign up to be notified and join that event. This is you'll hear me talk a lot about creating cyclical marketing. We want everything to inherently point back to your website where the tour will eventually get to, but more importantly, all of your business operates out of. And if you're using, for example, a market leader website, that funnels everything into your CRM where you can then better manage all of the contacts and activity that are happening therein. So you want to utilize something like your CRM to blast out the fact that this is happening. Like, let's say we're doing it on a Friday, so we're going to send out an e-blast on a Monday. And then we have part of our marketing plan is your social media. So you'll make posts both on Facebook when the event is created, and then maybe on Instagram the next day to remind everybody that this event is happening. Add something to your stories by utilizing video, talking about not just the home, but the community it lies in, and bring value to the conversation to remind people that, hey, this is happening on this event, or sorry, the event is happening on this day where you can pop in just like a traditional open house, and I will be there walking around the property. If you want me to open up a door, I can open a door. If you want to see how big the cabinets are or a closet is, I can do that. And you can walk individuals or groups through the home digitally. Have as part of this plan, right, have an idea of both the language centered around the posts that you're making and start to build an idea of what the language for these tours will be. You want to be as prepared as possible. And this is one of those situations where practice really does make perfect. The second thing you want to do, once the event is scheduled and you know when it's happening and you've updated your website and social media channels and everything that you use to contact your sphere, you are going to plan what that walkthrough will be. Have an idea of not only what you want to say, but things that you want to highlight and what specific rooms you want to do it in. I'm not a huge fan of scripting these things because you can come off robotic. Again, the whole point is to be authentic and be you, but have an outline that you've walked through, you memorized, you know what bullet points, you know, I'm starting in the yard, we're talking about the community, we're talking about where the home is. I'm going to walk into the living room. I'm going to highlight, you know, XYZ about the house. And then we'll talk about, you know, another facet of the community as we are guiding into the kitchen, right? Just have an idea of what you're doing and make sure the initial run through of the home, if you get the chance to practice, that's always great. But the initial run through you do of the home, especially during the beginning of that live event, that's what you want to be, that first clean walkthrough, like it would be if that camera is just another client that you're coming through. Because when you're done with the live event, you do get a video back and we can cut that down and we'll talk about where you can utilize that video again as a part of your marketing to push everybody back to your brand and business and really get the most out of leveraging, promoting that listing. So when you are preparing what you're going to do, I'm a big fan of practicing your own home. Practice, you leverage the other agents that you work with, leverage family, leverage friends, get used to talking on camera. Get used to the way your voice moves, the timbre, the diction. Make sure you're coming through clear, concise, and not necessarily rehearsed, as I obviously, you know, I have an outline for this presentation, but I very much go through it every time like I would walk through a house. There's kind of a cyclical nature into how I teach this class and the way you would do these kind of events. What you want to do is make sure that you're prepared to take questions, have them. That's the beauty of not just recording yourself and watching it back. If you do it with a friend, especially another agent who knows how clients like to talk, they can prepare you for the kind of questions you might see so you're on your toes and ready to answer and you don't find yourself fumbling too much. Because again, when you're live and on camera, you want to come off as polished as you can, but again, keeping whatever your natural character is, whatever your persona is. I'm going to go ahead. Let's talk about now, how would you create that Facebook Live event? And then we'll talk about, once it's done, what you want to do with that video after. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here, and we're going to watch a quick little guide that I will send to all of you as a reminder on how you can create these events.
We're going to show you how to set up your Facebook Live event. When utilizing Facebook Live, viewers are 10 times more likely to watch the entire video and comment. And 30% of those viewers are actually more likely to go to the next event or be at it when applicable. Let's get into setting up your Facebook Live event now. To start off, you'll want to first open up your business page in Facebook. In your top menu, locate the selection that says Create. Select that now. A drop-down menu will appear with several different options. You'll want to select Event. Now your Create Private Event window has opened up, and you'll have several options to fill out details about the event. The first is to either choose a theme or upload a picture of the property. If you have one, we suggest doing that. Next will be to give your event a name. Make this something that's easily recognizable to your clients and other additional viewers. Next, you'll be able to add a location. Facebook allows you to geotag this location if it has it in its registry. Next, you can add a description of the property. We would suggest putting details of the open house to draw in additional viewers. Next, you can select the date and time of the event. You can also add a schedule to show the duration of the event. Make sure you put a description. Finally, you have the ability to add a co-host. This would be great if you're going to have another agent host the open house with you or just host the open house for you. Make sure you check mark guests can invite friends and also show guest lists if you'd like. Now it's time to create your private event. Your event is now live and ready to review. If need be, you can change the picture or video that you've selected. You can also review all the details that you've set forward to make sure everything is correct. When you're ready, you can start to invite individuals that you would like to receive this invitation. Simply click on Invite and start to check off the radio button on individuals that you would like to receive this event. You also have the option to add additional people either by name, email address, or phone number if they don't use Facebook. Then just click Send Invite. You also have the option to post to your personal page, which is attached directly to your business page, so others can start to view that. Simply start typing the information in the post box. Others can view this, that view your personal page. Your last option is to copy the address of the event. And then add it to another page that you currently are following. In the post box, simply right-click and paste the web address, and your post will appear. Please make sure if you're doing this on another public page or an individual's page that you get permission to post this. But again, this is a great way to get a word out to individuals who might not have access to your business page just yet. And that's it.
All right, and that's creating that event. So once you've got the event created and you've gone ahead and decided what exactly it is you're going to say, and you've mapped it out, what do you do for the event specifically? Well, all of Facebook's data suggests that your minimum time for a live event wants to be at least 30 minutes. You want to be there for at least 30 minutes. Like I said, in that first 5, 10, 15, however big the property is, in the first chunk is when you're going to do that first walkthrough, regardless of whether there's people or not. If you get questions, great. But that's that first chunk that you're going to plan to be utilizing afterwards as a continual part of your marketing. Because as I mentioned, when you're done with the whole event, you'll get a video back of it that you can clip to that early portion. And as a reminder, throughout your tour or open house, whenever you find the right window, what you're essentially going to do is make sure consistently, whether it's every room, every 5 minutes, every 15 minutes, you have a built-in call to action to remind people, hey, by the way, for anyone that is watching this event and wants to get this tour to view again later, I will be posting it to all of my social media channels the following week. I will be sending it to my sphere tomorrow. If you'd like to be on my mailing list, make sure you get to my website and sign up, and you can have access to this tour as early as tomorrow. This way, you're creating traction not just with the planned event that's happening, but as I noted, we're driving people to other channels and, more importantly, back to your website where they can register and then be put into your CRM, and now are not only getting the business related news that is happening, but any of the other communication that goes out to your sphere from your InTouch system. And then you can export them out like I do once, I always tell agents once a month if it's really active, or once a quarter, again, whatever you're comfortable with. You pull people out of that system, move it into Prospect Square, and then now you've got more people that have the chance to win prizes, and you get to reach out to people in a warm sense as well. If you're not doing it with every contact right away, you want to make sure now is the best time to make sure you're leveraging all of these options, because it's not just about how everything looks on the listing side, but how we can tie them in to everything that we do that has not only information about the market and the region, but information about the community at large, to cement yourself as that community figure through all of these things that come out from your marketing. And then again, once you're done, like I said, you've got that plan to post. Make sure you do follow up with those kind of things, right? Send it to your sphere the next day. Have a pre-templated email. You can create a template in InTouch, or, I'm sure lots of other CRMs have the same kind of thing. Then all you'd have to do is pop in that new video. The rest of the language generally stays the same. You update it for the location, and you send that out to your sphere every time you have a new virtual tour. And make sure, again, you post these onto your social media channels. I mentioned I have some agents that have been doing this for a while. In my recap, I'll link to some of their channels so you can follow them. Some of the agents I've been working with since I've been down here. The big key, like I said in that quote, is consumers want you to be authentic, and they want you to show up and provide not only relevant information about a house, but the community that they're interested in living in. Are there any questions I can answer? I'm going to go ahead and check the chat, but I'm going to open up. Feel free to take off your microphone and ask me anything. I will take the 30-second silence as it ticks through to assume that everybody feels comfortable with what we've gone over. Again, obviously, your region's laws or ordinances may vary in regards to how exactly you get about doing these kind of things. And in my example, it's a perfect world where you can walk through the house and do it yourself. But this is where you guys get to be a little bit more creative and leverage, if it's occupied, see what you can do with the owner or whoever is there. If it's unoccupied, still make sure you're taking proper precaution and wearing, gloves or a mask or whatever it may be to make sure you don't appear insensitive to the current environment. Optics is huge, especially when you're putting yourself on camera. That's why practice makes perfect. Make sure you're comfortable. I don't see any questions. Nothing's coming through. You guys have been great. You're all being supported by a huge team. Make sure you check in on other classes. Next week, I will be doing a series on actually creating a YouTube channel. So like a YouTube 100 course, as well as doing a class on interpreting data sources from the company. So be on the lookout for those in Sales Pro, and have a great weekend, everybody. Stay healthy, stay safe. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And you're welcome to everyone saying thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.